to building the, our current economic situation. And my biggest fear right now is everything that I hear that want to do with this, this manna from heaven of this, economic stimulus, the trillions of dollars that we're all going to be paying for the rest of our lives and the rest of our children and our grandchildren's lives. I don't want to think about just what the interest payment on this is going to be on an annual basis. But as I was saying, my biggest fear is that these are going to go to programs that are not going to be sustainable jobs. We need to make sure, and I understand this is a federal program, and the minority party from Beacon Hill doesn't have a lot of direct control over where this is going to be spent. But we need to make everybody understand that we can't be using this money to fix schools, which needs to be done. We can't be using it to pay the salary of firefighters and police for the next 2 years, because that's just a Band-Aid on today's symptoms. We need to use this money, since it's being shoved down our throats. We need to use this to make sustainable jobs. Let's find maybe, and again, I'm no economist, but if we can find ways to use this money to make this area more appealing to businesses, bring in some real manufacturing jobs, bring in the type of, use this money to bring in the type of jobs that are going to be here for 15, 20 years. Something, real manufacturing plants that are flexible, not ones that make one product and that's it, but things that can grow as time comes. We need to take this time and this opportunity to really put some vision forward. We need to slow down and look, not let it, when everyone's got their hand up, we need to say stop. Let's stop. Let's think about it, and let's make this count. This is our chance. Let's go forward, and again, let's not do what we always do and just throw money at current problems and call it a success. Because what caused the problem is still going to be there next year, 5 years, 10, 20 years down the road. Thank you.
Again, I'm sorry. I just no disrespect to you guys at all or anything, right? But somebody had mentioned something about a wish list about you guys coming down, and it's gotten to the point where when I just started following politics a few years back, and then it's gotten to the point where I just can't trust anybody anymore, and that just rang a bell, the wish list thing, because I'm just hoping and praying that all of these people, including myself and my wife, aren't coming up here and blowing smoke. Like, this is just a big waste of time. Like I said, no disrespect to you guys, but if you're writing a wish list out because you plan on running for something, and you're kind of like grabbing all of our ideas to, come up with some kind of a speech, hey, you can laugh, but you know what? You can't blame me for thinking that way. You know what I mean? Because the government is absolutely ridiculous already. I've had enough. You know what I mean? And when it comes to the LNG thing, I'm going to bring it up again. No one realizes how dangerous, well, I'm not going to say no one, I know I realize, these trucks that drive through supposedly carry about 10,000 gallons of LNG. The boats that they want to bring in carry 3 billion gallons of LNG. Do they live around here? Why don't they put it in their backyard? Why are they going to put it in mine? Or everybody? That's not right. And I just feel like, you know what? This is sad to say, but I've gotten to the point where you just want to flip the white flag and just put your hands down and say, screw it.
No. Come to that.
I had to do that. Please remember LNG, highlight it, cross it out, don't cross it out, put a star next to it, do something to it, bring it to the governor and say, hey, make these people stop. I'm going to get a 209A, is that what they call a restraining order? Against Hess. Because they're not stopping, it's harassment already, seriously.
I would like to thank you all for coming here to listen to us, but if you could bring one message back to Beacon Hill for me, address it to my representatives and tell them I will come if they come down and listen to us, and if they won't talk to me with my lapel pin on, I'll take it off and talk to them. But you folks are our representatives. I appreciate that you're here, and I appreciate you want to try and help the Southeast, but I'm within. If my representatives aren't willing to come out in a forum like this and listen to what their constituency has to say, then they're not worth a darn. And I do want to talk to Kevin Aguirre. Maybe he'll listen to me if I take my lapel pen off.
I doubt it.
Hi, I'm sorry to be paid.
That's how
I don't know your gentlemen's names. Could you please?
George, Brad.
George and Brad. Thank you for, just another thing with the LNG. They had, there was a community meeting about the LNG problem before, and they had mentioned that 3 of the people on the committee, the FERC committee, are Republicans, and there's 1 Democrat. Could you gentlemen have any influence with the gentlemen who are on there who are Republicans to try to tell them this is a very dangerous idea?
I guess that's going to change with the new president.
Okay.
Because the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission is an appointment process. I have to say that we wouldn't write letters in support of stopping the project, at least as proposed.
Okay, thank you very much.
You mentioned, when I got up this building, you mentioned about a blog. Could you tell us how we can reach that blog? And
You can go to www.thecapitalviewlive.com. And it's capital TOL.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is David Polder, I'm the treasurer of the Florida City Committee. I just read in Herald News this morning that they just, our illustrious president was appointed a new FERC director. So, I don't know, good, bad, whatever, that's what happened. Just to get on that LNG thing that's been going on, we've been getting more representation from the Rhode Island legislature
Yes,
than we have from the Mass legislature.
that's
And I
right.
think it's a downright shame that somebody in the legislation in Boston doesn't get together with the Rhode Island legislature and form some kind of a law or some kind of a petition or something. Because, 2 years ago, Bonnie Frank says if we get Democrats, we're going to end this LNG, bing, bang, boom, done deal. But it hasn't been done yet. So maybe somebody up in Boston can talk to the Rhode Island legislation and come up with some kind of a plan to stop it. Also on this medical thing that the Mass says everybody has to have. I'm not thrilled with people telling me I have to have this and I have to have that. You know, it goes from democratic to socialism type of thing. But it kind of sucks that when a person is out of a job and they end up paying $100, $120 a month extra from whatever little money that they have. I know this one person, she was paying like $35 a month. So her husband has a part-time job and he made $200 a month more than last year. He figured he'd work hard, a little bit harder to get extra money. He makes $2,200 more last year. They raise it from $35 to $120 a month. So what kind of incentive is that to make the guy go out and work harder because they only take the money away from him? If you can do something about that, it would be greatly appreciated. Also to touch on that 19-cent gas tax, I'm in transportation. And my boss buys thousands of gallons a month from the local gas stations. He has already made arrangements. If any gas tax comes on, he's already made arrangements with gas stations in Rhode Island, right, to buy thousands of gallons of gas. So what happens now? All the bordering towns are going to get an increase in business, and all the stations on the bordering towns are going to lose everything and go out of job. They'll be out of business. And then what happens there? The government gets less money. All right? Meanwhile, all your groceries goes up and all your other junk goes up, and the government's getting less money. So what's he going to tax? He's going to come down and tax on somebody breathing now? You know, it's kind of ridiculous.
Don't give me any ideas.
You know what I mean? Just getting back to that medical. If you think free health, that healthcare now costs a lot of money, wait till the healthcare is free and see how much it's going to cost you.
You didn't have to get up, you could have done it.
No, that's okay. Good afternoon. I wanted to thank you too for coming here and listening to us. Unfortunately, I've been hearing some people talk about taxes. I'm going to talk about taxes. I make no bones about it. My wife and I earn a very decent wage. We're considered in this area, I would say, upper middle class. I'm in the process of having my wife finish her master's degree, now sitting for a CPA. I have an exorbitant amount of bills. I've got no help from anyone for to pay for my wife's extending education. I'm putting a son through Northeastern right now who is in his final years. I don't need to tell you that I owe $130,000 for that note. And the reason I do that is because I want my children to have more than what I have, just like what the rest of us parents have done, all the parents in this room have done. But I have to tell you, what really set me off was Governor Deval Patrick's, and I'm directing this directly at him, Governor Deval Patrick's statement about a cup of coffee. I live in a town of Freetown. I've just recently been charged. I live on a small pond that you can't swim in. I've just been recently charged for pond frontage for some of the frontage that I have on the pond. I've heard things come out of the State House, such as a view tax. In my eyes, anyone who pays for pond frontage, water frontage, who abuts a tributary and is paying more money to live next to a conservation area, that's their view tax. I'm already paying a view tax for that extra surcharge to live in those areas. And I know 19 cents a gallon doesn't seem a lot when you add it up. But when you sit down and add the whole tax up with the cost of groceries, I work in the transportation area. I'm a UPS driver. I see what it costs my company to run that. And we're a profitable company. I can't see how the businesses in this state are going to be able to absorb that. The small-time guys, the guys, the landscapers especially, who work on a very, very small margin of profit. I mean, these guys hustle, hustle, hustle. And for some reason, I really get disgusted when I listen. I don't hear what I want to hear coming out of Beacon Hill. I'm going to just make one more statement about the cigarette tax. You know, we raised the cigarette tax. I'm not a smoker. We raised the cigarette tax, the sin tax. And that money, unfortunately, in my eyes, it hurt the worst part of the population, the ones who really don't know any better that they shouldn't be smoking, or the ones who really don't have it in them to stop. But I heard a couple of statistics, and I watched this, that cigarette tax has actually hurt the state because from what they're saying, lottery sales are down. And the reason lottery sales are down, if you go and talk to most of the people who are smokers, they don't have the money to buy lottery tickets in the state anymore because they're giving it to the cigarette tax. And unfortunately, in this state, Governor Deval Patrick said he wants to charge, you know, put a surcharge on our excise tax for people who drive SUVs. But he's going to give us an incentive to buy hybrids. And he wants to raise the gas tax. And he puts a formula forth on how much volume and fuel we're spending in the state right now. I have news for you. If all of us buy hybrids, how much money does he think the gas tax is going to generate if we're all getting 42 miles to the gallon? It just doesn't work. I just wish somebody would bring a fresh voice back to him and tell him he really needs to come back and listen to us and not have these little selective town hall or city meetings where most of the people who came in and sat down and talked to him were actually supporters of Governor Deval Patrick. That's all I ask him. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Someone else?
One more thing before I go, I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
Probably got something to do with LNG, right?
I just hired somebody $160,000 a year or whatever, right?
175.
$175,000, $77,000 for TVs in state prisons, right? You gotta be kidding me. We ain't getting no work, we with laying off firefighters and cops, and I mean, it's crazy, right? He's like a spoiled brat, I'm sorry, but. You know what I mean? I mean, how many times can you possibly mess up and punish us? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm paying my taxes. You screw up, so now I have to pay more to help you? Tell me what you're going to do for me. Take my safety away? Doesn't make any sense. If you're going to charge me more, well then I'm going to want something back. You're taking from me, and you're taking from me. You know? Thank you.
How you doing? My name's Kyle Bradley. I'm a registered Republican that's recent. That was because of my friend Steve over here. He basically, you know, put it in a nutshell. I've had enough. You know, they want to raise taxes. That's great because things need to get paid for. But here's the thing: When I don't have any more money. I have a son. I'm not married, but his son, his mother lives with me, and I take care of them both. She don't work, and I'm not, don't take anything from the state. I have in the past because it was necessary, and I paid into that system, so I don't regret it. But I think before, and you can bring this back to the bulk Patrick, tell him Kyle Bradley said, before you raise any taxes, cut something. Because we don't have to do any more money. So basically, like the rest of these people, I've had enough. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you for being here. We appreciate it immensely. Everybody in this room appreciates the time the team has spent. My concern is for the restaurant meals tax that's being proposed. There's a meals tax being proposed both on the state level, an increase in the tax, and also this discussion about giving the local communities the option of raising the meals tax. These folks live in cities, New Bedford, Fall River, where the unemployment rate is astronomically high already. 15.9% in Fall River, 15% in New Bedford. We have firemen here who are laid off from their jobs. I mean, this is like going through a looking glass. We're not destination cities, New Bedford and Fall River. Boston is a destination city. People are going to go there. People are going to travel there from all over the world. Taxes are going to mean anything. The tourists are going to pay for that. The restaurants that are still open through this economic crisis in Fall River and New Bedford are going to be penalized because we don't have that outside income coming here. If we are hit with a double whammy food tax, restaurant tax, we're going to have more people laid off because the restaurants are not going to be able to afford to hire another dishwasher or another wait person, or they're going to have to let somebody go if the taxes are going up because it's going to cut into their profits. They're not going to have the business that they had before. We're concerned that any more taxes at any level is really going to put the nail in the coffin of these communities. These people just can't afford it anymore. They don't have it, and that's why they're here today on a Saturday afternoon. We ask you that you consider, when you go back to Boston and speak to the governor and your colleagues, that you consider the plight of the small businessman in Massachusetts and the small businesswoman in Massachusetts, because these taxes, you know, individually they don't maybe sound like a whole lot, but when you put them all together, on top of people who are already struggling. We have a shirt factory in Fall River closed last week, 50 people out of work. Again, a Quaker manufacturing in Fall River. We are hurting very badly. And the mom and pop stores and businesses are barely staying open. Any more taxes on these people, and that's going to close the doors for them. And a lot of folks are going to be out of work. We just simply can't afford it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Hi, I'm one of those small business owners. And it's very difficult out here. It's like every day you turn on the TV and it's, what more do they want out of my pocket? I need to hire another employee, but have waited desperately because I don't know what's going to happen. There is no confidence coming out of the White House or coming out of, you know, Boston. So I'm holding on. I'm paying more in everything. My vendors are having to charge me more because the gas went up in price. Now you've got the gas tax onto that. The sales tax, they're talking about throwing the sales tax, increasing the sales tax. So now someone's not going to buy. I'm bringing more business in. I'm fortunate. If you look at my volume of business, I'm doing well. I'm moving in the right direction. But the more I go in the right direction, it's been taking out the back door. And all that money out the back door is not doing a damn thing to improve my business, to increase my bottom line. You know, it's none of that. And it can't continue. You know, I don't have children. Through life circumstances, I don't own a house. So I'm already paying an exorbitant amount of taxes. And they keep wanting more. And it has to stop. And, you know, my account comes in and says, you know, you need to maybe shut off the lights 2 days a week. You maybe need to do this. You maybe need to do that to cut your bottom line. I'm living bare bones as it is, personally and in the business. And all I see out of Boston is people getting jobs that have been vacant for 12 years. People who are, new jobs are being created, $100,000 jobs. None of the fluff has been cut, none of the waste. I mean, yeah, in any business there's waste. I've cut my waste to zero. Boston hasn't cut any of their waste, they just keep increasing the waste. And it can't continue, because the small business owners are going out left and right, small restaurants are going out already. And if we're gone, there's not, jobs are lost. But also you can't, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna have to go and get assistance. So more people are gonna have to get taxed in order to support me. I'm trying to make it out here on my own, and you guys are killing me, literally.
What kind of business?
I own a sign company.
Thank you. I'm David.
Basically what it's talking about, you need to get more money in the hands of the small businesses and the people who are going to consume the products. Because if you don't have people consuming the products, the economy's not going to go anywhere. So instead of giving AIG these billions and billions and billions of dollars to put in their corporate pockets, we need to get more to the people who are going to spend the money to keep the businesses in business, to pay the loans that they've made in the banks. And if you give it to the people, it may sound like socialism, but it's going to get the economy going again. And I don't really think it's socialism, it's a matter of survival. So if you give it to the people who are going to spend the money, who are going to pay their mortgage loans, because nobody's going to want to go out and get another loan when they're already doubly in debt. And so if people spend the money, people will have, the businesses will stay in business, they'll grow, people will be getting hired. So it'll just keep rolling that way, but the way it's going now, we're rolling backwards, and you're taking more money out of our pockets and we can't spend it to keep the businesses going.
Thank you. I'll say this, that one of the few things that I agree with in the stimulus package was the president's idea of at least some tax cuts or tax relief in there so that we could keep more money in our pocket, which is supposedly about $18 a week. The problem is if you add up all the proposals that are out there, from the gas tax, the sales tax, the personal income tax, the registry fee, for the 18 that you kept from the federal government, we're going to take about 45 back, so it's a net loss of about 30. Not a very good situation. Yes?
Judy Secure, I'm sorry I didn't identify myself.
That's all right.
But I was talking to a tax accountant who said people need to be informed that $13 a week they're getting, they're going to be taxed on it next year in their income tax. And it's considered unearned income. So you're not getting a break.
Someone else?
I just have one more thing to say on the lottery. Just, someone had brought that up. I don't know how you're going to get any more money out of the lottery at the rate that it's paying back. I don't want to buy tickets anymore. If I buy 10 tickets and I win not $1, now next week I'm not going to take my $10 and buy lottery tickets. And I found,
if you have $10, give it to George, because he does very well.
You're the only one.
Sorry.
Because I'm not seeing it come back like it used to.
I agree.
It's getting to
I
the point
agree.
where I don't want to spend my money on it. Thank you, John. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Someone else? Yes, sir.
Just like to add stuff too. People talk about what we can do to get stuff going, and that's really what we should be talking about, is what we can do to get stuff going. Everybody knows if you're not making anything, you're not making money. It's basically that simple. We need to get manufacturing of anything at all going on in this state, period. Especially this area, because we have such a deep, manufacturing background, and we have the obviously have the available workforce, to take up these jobs. So anything that can be done to lure manufacturing to Massachusetts, and specifically, the Southcoast area, because this happens to be where I live, would be awesome. Honestly, I heard something about company BG that makes electric cars, and I'm really not. I don't really subscribe to the green thinking that is popular these days. But anything, I'd be welcoming this because they're making something. If they can make it and sell it as a product, it's profitable, God bless them, let's make some more. Manufacturing jobs basically is where we need. We're going to get that money, the people that the revenue that's gonna come in. You don't need to raise taxes, all you need to do is grow your base, try to grow your tax base. You know, raising taxes doesn't ever help anybody, it just hurts everybody. Thanks.
Just want something else I thought of. I just want to bring up the fact of the 45 firefighters in Fall River who did get laid off. I had the privilege to have 2 firefighters on my apparatus from rookies, right out of boot camp on my piece. I trained them for the last 2 years. 2 of them, Dan Diago, Ed Correa, 2 of the best young firefighters you ever want to lay eyes on. I was acting captain at a different station, and my piece caught a fire. And I got nothing but accolades of the acting lieutenant that was on my piece. All he said was, "Dan, you should have seen these guys, unbelievable. Dan Diago's a bull." He says, "The other guy, you couldn't stop him." These are the guys Fall River lost, a total of 45 young, energetic, hard-working firefighters. And you know something? If you could see their faces when they were told they were getting laid off, not one iota of it had to do with money, had to do with their benefits, had to do with anything. They were sad that they were losing a job that they loved. I've been to life and death situations with these young guys, and they were right there to help people. They were right there to give their lives to help people. And now 45 firefighters are denied the chance to continue on doing what they were doing best. That needs to be brought back. Governor Patrick Deval stating that he supports it. Shame on him. He needs to do what he can to get money to our communities to put these people back. I could talk about the police officers, but that's not my lane. I'm here for the firefighters. We need to put these people back. These were young, hardworking firefighters. Our department in one day went from an average age of 33 years old to 47 years old. I myself am 53. I cannot do what I did when I was 23. I've given 100% of my department, I still will. But if Governor Patrick Deval wants to come and ride my piece, Engine 5, in Fall River, out of the Globe Station, I would invite him to do so. And we need our people back. We need our firefighters back.
I'm a strong supporter of offshore drilling in the Jordan's Bay area, especially in this area. This area has a long history in industry. Berkshire Hathaway, the Miracle Oracle bought in South New Bedford. Look where it is today. Also, the home, this was the original oil city, whale oil. The oil was found in Pennsylvania. They didn't know what to do with it. It was brought to Bedford to be refined. We build refineries back here. We need manufacturing offshore drilling. I'm just supporting them, and these things that also good for us. But, you know, what is Kennedy and everyone else we can help them for that.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all for coming.